Hello and welcome to another episode of the Women Can Do Show. I am your host, Rochelle Sawyer Cobb, and I have with me the talented Sherine Tate. Welcome to the show, Sherine.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I am excited to dig in. So, our topic today is photography for business and why it's important. You guys got to really tap in and receive these good nuggets that Sherine is about to share. But so, just to give you a little background, Sherine is a photographer, a videographer, a content creator, and her mission is to help businesses and individuals elevate their image and connect with their audience. She's the owner of Tate Digital Media, and I am a witness that she does an excellent job. So I'm gonna
Thank you
just
so
put
much.
that out there before she gets into it, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank
So
you.
just give us outside of photography and Tate Digital Media, just give us just a brief, description of who is Sherine, your background, where you're from, whatever you want to share.
Got you. So my name is Sherine Tate, born and raised in good old Philadelphia, PA. Background is in IT. So I've been in doing IT for over 15 years now. So I love technology. That's my passion. Sometimes I wish I don't see new technology because I'm like, oh, I gotta go get that, which I
Yeah.
really don't, but I just love it. Um, yeah, I'm an introvert. I'm very quiet. I just kind of stick to myself, learn all I can learn, and just help people out when I can.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, how did you get started in photography?
So I got started in photography. Well, I'm gonna take it back. I'm still a videographer. I started out in videography. So I started
Okay.
recording content for a Philadelphia influencer in Philly, but I was doing it off my phone and I was shooting in 4K. And doing all her content and everything. And I went down to a conference in Atlanta called Social Proof.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, um, when I got there, they had different like breakout rooms and everything. So it was this one guy by the name of Brandon Dixon, videographer, photographer, but he taught people how to do photography, videography,
Oh wow.
and how to, turn it into, if it's your passion, to turn it into how to make money from it. So I sat in his class and everything, and he said, he said, I looked at your page, I saw your videos. He said, they're very clear. He said, what are you using? I said, my iPhone. He said, so you don't have a camera? I said, no. He said, you ever thought about doing this for money? I said, no. He said, come here, let me talk to you. So he was telling me about his course that he has. It was a 6-week course online, 2 days hands on in Atlanta. And you know what? Sometimes fear will talk you out of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was talking myself out of it, and the
Yeah.
class was like starting in like 2.5 weeks and everything. And I'm like, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. And then he said he don't know if he was going to run it again because he was busy. I mean, it's Atlanta, so everybody is either having something or need content created.
Right.
So I did the class for 6 weeks, 2 days hands on, and the rest is history. I got into, doing that and photography really when the pandemic hit. We couldn't do videography because it was only a certain amount of people that could be in the room. With photography, if you have
Ah.
a certain lens, you could be 6 feet from the person and still get
Yeah.
amazing
Wow.
pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I got into photography. And of course, I have friends that love pictures, so they were my muse. That's how I learned the ins and outs. And um, it was just like, okay, well, I like doing both. So now I do both, and I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I just honed in on it and learned all I can learn from it. And, the amazing photographers that's out there, if they was offering a class or, something virtual at that time, hey, we couldn't go anywhere. So I invested in myself and I learned
And
during
what
around the pandemic time.
I was gonna say that I love that you're one of those. I love to hear the stories of the pandemic businesses, the businesses that's because I launched I Can Do during the pandemic. And so I love to hear those stories because you hear all of the kind of like, a lot of people lost things, you know what I mean,
Hmm.
during a lot of people suffered losses during the pandemic. So I
Yeah.
love to hear those businesses that started during the pandemic and that are still flourishing today. So I love that it's you started during the pandemic.
Yes. Yes. I mean, at that time you couldn't do anything, so you might as well
Right.
invest in yourself and learn.
Exactly.
And if you could be outside, you just have to be 6 feet away from people. Okay, you
Yeah.
go over there. I'm gonna snap the picture from here, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So what goes into your planning process? Like before you do a shoot, you get this gig, you have this shoot to do. What goes into your planning process to prepare for that shoot?
So I always speak with the client to, get a gist of what they want, their ideas, what do they want out of the photo shoot. Do they
Yeah.
have certain, images they want me to capture? Do you have any um, inspiration? I tell them to send me like a picture of the inspiration of what you're trying to, achieve. And they'll do that. And then they just say, this is my first time. So I'm leaving it in your hands. So then I kind of go look up like business inspiration to say, okay, I can see her doing this move, this pose,
Mm,
and I'm big on customer service. So once they get into the studio, I make sure that they're fine. I always get to the studio an hour early so I can set up. So once they get in, sometimes they're already dressed. We can start shooting right away. Or if they
yeah.
have to get dressed, allow a few minutes, get them comfortable. I ask them what's their favorite music, turn that on, and then we just get going and we start shooting. And some people, that's the first time, they'll come up to me and be like, this is my first time, but I had an amazing time. You're easy
Wow.
to work with. And that's what I want. Like, I don't want you to come in scared, stiff. If this
Right.
is your first time, I want us to have fun. I want this to be uh, a experience for you, because it's always about having a great experience if
Mm-hmm.
it's something that's your first time, because I want you to come back. I want you to be a repeat client of mine. And that's how I go into it. I always, we go, if it's in the DM, we go from the DM to a phone call. I need the
Yeah.
logistics. I need to hear it out of what you want, and we take it from there, and we just have a good time, produce good photos so they can, for their brand, so they can use it for, flyers,
Yeah.
their website, whatever they need to use it for.
Yeah.
I'm very anal, so I'm not saying I'm a perfectionist, but I want to make sure that these pictures are tip top shape so
Yeah.
people
And that's good. Yeah, that's a good thing.
so whoever they send them to, they're high resolution and they're going
Mm-hmm.
to look good on anything that there's going to be, posted on, if it's a flyer, a banner, whatever. So, and I'm like this. If you're not happy with it, I have did this one time. I've reshot a shoot,
Mm-hmm.
and I told the lady, I said, if that wasn't what you wanted, I said, let's shoot it again. And she
Yeah.
looked at me. She said, really? I said, yes, I'm big on customer service, because I said I'd
Mm-hmm.
rather have you as a long time customer
Right.
than just shooting you once. She still comes to me to this day.
Wow. And again, you take pride in your work. Like you said, you you're not a perfectionist, but technically it's nothing wrong with, you know what I mean, especially if you're
Yeah,
providing a product or a service to someone. So
yeah,
I love that. Um and typically, like you said, when you get a new client, like they don't know what to like. I've done a shoot before, so I don't know what to do. So it's like, okay, I know like before time, I'm thinking like, I wonder is someone gonna be there to show me how to pose, or how do I,
yeah.
because it's a brand shoot. So it's like, okay, what am I? This is not your typical outside taking a selfie and all of this. Um, you know what I mean? So you do
Yes,
need that creative. So do you ever get creatively stuck?
yes, I do. I do. I
And
get
and
creative.
and,
I
and how
go
do you come out of that though? Like what?
good old Pinterest. I
Ah,
go to Pinterest, type
okay.
in like an idea or how I would want this shoot to look, and it'll pop up some ideas, and I just be like, okay, okay. And I'll do that either during the shoot or before the shoot, write stuff down.
Yeah.
I'll even save some of the stuff in my phone and show the client, like, give me this, but give me in your version of it. And then they'll hit the poses and they be like, I never
Okay.
thought about doing this. So when I get stuck, I go to Pinterest, or sometimes I just give myself a second. I'll tell the client, hey, you know, give me a few, like, not a few minutes, but just give me a moment and stuff, and then I'll sit there and think, and I'll be like, try this, do this, and they be like, oh my God, I never thought about it that way. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do with your stuff, yes, but you just have to be quick to kind of get yourself unstuck.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's good. Like you say, your inspiration is, Pinterest. You go to Pinterest and then you can kind of like, okay, I
Yeah,
got it.
yes, yes, yes.
And so how do you so we know that especially with in business or with a brand, like high quality photos are important.
Hmm.
um why do you believe that it's critical, or share with the audience somebody, a lot of our viewers are business owners, but
Yes,
share why it is critical um to have high quality photos.
because you're representing your brand, and you
Mhm.
don't want to send. You have a speaking engagement, and you sending somebody a selfie. Mm-mm.
Mm. Mm.
You don't want to do that. Invest
Unprofessional.
in
That would
invest
be the
in
response that
yes,
somebody would.
yes. Don't send a selfie, because this is what it's going to boil down to. You're going to send that selfie to somebody that's going to put it on the flyer. It's already low resolution. Then it's going to be a lower
Ah,
resolution. Then it's going to be pixelated. Most of the time you're doing the selfie. So when you do the selfie, your shoulder is cut off. So now they
wow.
got to probably try to fit you in there, but and sometimes you'll see that the picture is cut off. So you don't want to do that, because if you're doing it for your brand, that means like you're misrepresenting yourself. Invest in photos,
Yeah.
because I tell anybody, do up to date headshots like quarterly, or brand
Mm.
shoot. You do your, say, spring summer, fall, winter. And depending on how busy you are, if you feel like you need more shoots in between,
Yeah.
do that, because if you constantly don't want to keep running the same picture on a flyer if
Yeah.
you're at a lot of speaking engagements.
Yeah.
So it's very critical. I mean, it's crucial to have good pictures that's going to be on flyers. I mean, these flyers today, and with these graphic designers, like, they need high resolution pictures, because that's what they're working in high
Yeah.
resolution. And
Yeah.
I've seen some nice flyers, but I can tell somebody sent a selfie because how pixelated it looked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just be like, nope, nope. Just like my one of my friends said, she said, and at the top of the year, get your headshots done. March, go get another set of headshots,
Mhm.
and you do it in different outfits, like 3 or 4 outfits, depending on how busy your brand is and everything.
Right.
Utilize those. Come back and get more. So it represents you, and if your brand, if you're standing behind your brand, and your brand is, you don't want somebody to be like, oh, that's her picture, that looks tacky. Then they're gonna
Yeah.
think your brand is tacky, and that's
Yeah.
not what we want to convey. Like, your brand is your brand. That's your baby. You put hard work into building that brand. So definitely get professional pictures to send to a graphic designer, and let them do and sculpt and do what they need to do, so they can fit you in perfectly anywhere on that flyer, and you can look great.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
But
love
your
that
pictures, your
that's some.
pictures are beautiful. I
Yeah.
love your pictures.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And that when and now, but before that, I had that's why I'm glad you're sharing this, and this is a needed conversation, because a lot of people don't know that how important those pictures are. I didn't know that until Brittany had me. She's like, you got to do a brand shoot, and I'm like, okay, like for like I did a shoot before I had launched a lip gloss, and so I did do like a shoot for that, but that was it. That was just for the lip gloss, not necessarily for the brand as a whole. But like I said, I didn't realize the importance of it until she's like, "You got to do a brand shoot." And then so when I did the shoot, she's like, "Okay, you need this many outfits," and so I
Hmm.
didn't realize like how many, like it's almost like being on set, right?
Yes.
For filming, you know. But like I said, a lot of business owners don't know that. And like I said, even when I started, I kind of knew like you need these professional photos, but I didn't really feel, I didn't see the importance of it until then. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you sharing that. You're sharing that information because people need to know how important that is for their brand identity.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, coming from her by her being PR, a
Yeah.
creative director,
Yeah.
a graphic designer. Of
Yeah.
course, she's going to be like, no, I need this tip top shape. I need you
Yeah.
to bring your A game. I need all the good stuff. And that's, you know, that's why I say, like, it might cost you some, it might cost you some money, but you know, you'll have these pictures for a while.
Yep.
And just get that team, just you
Yeah.
know, if you need a creative director, fine. You need a makeup artist, fine. Get that because that is key. Hair, makeup, the whole outfit, the whole presentation is
Yeah.
key
Yeah.
in everything to have a successful brand and to get out in this world.
And then and then like, and that leads into my next question, like
Hmm.
how can professional photos help a business stand out from their competitors? Because like you said, you mentioned like, somebody may have the selfie on their flyer, but your
Yes,
flyer is going to stand out more. You know what I'm saying?
yes, yes. So with that, ah, that's a good question, and I think more people now are realizing that professional pictures is needed.
Yeah.
And if you just never know what company might reach out to you, these brand companies are reaching out to people that have like a high influence.
Hmm.
So you have to be ready. So
Yeah.
if they tell you right then and there, so say if Coca-Cola reached out to you, we need X, Y, Z, and this because we want to promote you and we
Mm.
want your business to be a partnership with us and we need this by 5 o'clock today. So what are you going to do? Twiddle your
Wow.
thumbs. You should have your bio. You should have a high resolution professional picture and
Hmm.
whatever they're asking for because top notch brands are coming after people. If you have a
Yeah.
high influence, they're coming after you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So have a solid team. And if it's you, it's enough AI tools out here to help you until
Yep.
you get that solid team. So it shouldn't be like, oh, I don't have this. I got to get ready.
Right. I don't have the resources.
You
Yeah.
should be ready already. You should
Right.
be ready. So it's very important, and that shows people your brain like, okay, she's ready. Like she got bio, the polished picture, everything.
Yeah.
So that a picture can make or break. Now I know I'm a photographer. And I haven't did pictures in 4 years. I know that's just me, but thank God I still look the same from the 4 years ago. But I gotta get some pictures. But Brittany asked me for a picture today. I need a picture right now. Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here go a clean headshot right
Right.
here.
Right.
So, because you just never know. What if you know one day BET say, "Hey, we need a headshot because we need you to come out and do photos."
Come
Oh
on.
well, I'm doing a photo shoot on Friday, and they're going to be
Wow.
updated. No, they need that right now
Yeah.
because you just never know when your time might be.
Yeah.
You just never know. So you just have to be ready. Look, look on my Google Drive. I have everything in a folder,
Mhm.
so I can just send somebody a link. Here you go.
Yep.
And it took. I'm not saying it took me a while, but I had to take a class to understand that. Like, okay, your brand is your self worth. Like, you
You are the
really have
brand.
to. You are
You are
exactly.
the
You are the brand.
I'll never
And
when I first started, I had a branding coach. And that was
mm,
the reason because I don't know about branding. Like I knew I had the vision, right? I
yes.
don't know about branding. So I hired a branding coach and she's like, the first thing I need you to write down is I am the brand. She was like, I
Mm,
don't ever, she said 50 years from now, you still need to understand that you are the brand.
yes. Yes. Because I mean, look at these brands still standing to this day.
Yeah.
And not saying that they never had their struggles or their ups and downs, but
Yeah.
they kept going at it,
Yeah.
and that's what you just have to do. Even with
Yeah.
our brands, we just got to keep going.
Yeah.
one month might be cool, next month might be like, okay, what's going on here? So, but you
Right.
don't
And
give up.
that's it's true.
You don't give up
The
because you don't
reality of
invest
it.
exactly. You don't
Yeah.
invest the time, money, sweat, blood, tears, a little bit
Yeah.
of everything into it, and you just keep going.
Yep.
And that's the world of branding.
Yeah. So tell us about Tate Digital Media. And what all is housed under Tate Digital Media? Because I know you say you're a photographer, videographer. So when did you officially, was it 2020 when you officially launched Tate Digital Media?
Actually, it was 2019,
Okay.
and at the time, my name was different, and I switched my name, so I was Tate Technology.
Okay.
And the guy that I took the class from, he was like, "No, that's not like a corporation." He said, "It's not like you need to
Yep.
be downtown
That's
on
true. Yeah.
a building somewhere." I said, "Well," I said, "that ain't a bad idea either." He said, "No, it's not." But he said, "If you're a photographer, videographer," he said, "Take technology is not catchy." So we was just sitting there after having a class, and I had went somewhere with him to, get my feet wet working with him. He's like, Take. He said, Take Digital. So I started off at Take Digital. He said, Take
Hmm.
Digital. He said, there you go. He said, that's your name. He said, go change your name on your Instagram right now.
Wow.
Right then and there. He said, your name is Take Digital. And as I got more into doing photography, videography, and now the world of content creation, because, short form
Hmm.
videos are big.
Yeah.
And, you capture people's attention for that 30 seconds of the video, and then, that is big. Not saying long form content is not, but that
Hmm.
short form content is really big. So
Yeah.
once I got into that, I started, of course, doing more classes and everything. I said, you know what, one day I will have my own media company.
Mm.
So I went from Take Digital to Take Digital Media.
Yeah.
So that's my name, Take Digital Media. I would love, a dream of mine would love to work on a Tyler Perry project
Mm.
in due
Yeah.
time. So, God's
Claim
timing.
it, honey. Claim it.
I'm claiming it. I'm
And
claiming
your
it.
work is,
So
but here's the thing, your work is good. Like, you know what I
thank
mean?
you.
Like it
Thank you.
deserves to be there. No, totally. Your work is,
And,
yeah.
and I will say this, we're our own worst critics sometimes
Yeah.
because sometimes I'll look at something, I'll be like, oh, this don't look right. And I'll post it and they be like, oh my God, how did you do this? How did you
Mhm.
do how? And I'm like, sometimes we're hard on ourselves for no reason. And you
Yeah.
know how many people just say, you know what, don't even worry, just post the content. Just post the content.
Yeah.
So we'll spend 2 hours on editing a 30-second reel
Overthinking it.
and overthinking it and only still get 4 likes. And then if you throw something up there that you like, I didn't even polish this, it's
Right.
going through the roof. I'm like, well, hold on. How does this work? I spent 2 hours the other day editing a video. I just threw
Wow.
this up there. And so I'm learning as I'm learning to just post the content and, you know, and just to grow more with Intake Digital Media. I want to get into documentaries, like short
Mm.
documentaries and everything. And,
Yeah.
you know, working towards that editorial type photography. So I mean, I
Mhm.
have did a little bit of that. So just hey, just learning and growing, and I don't mind learning, and I don't mind taking like constructive criticism
That's
because it's going to
important.
get me to the next level
Yeah.
of my business. So
Yeah. Be
I'm
a
always
sponge.
yes,
I always
yes,
tell people I'm a sponge, honey.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, you have to learn. I mean, stuff is changing. Like technology used to be
Yeah.
changed in 6 months, maybe a year. Now
Yeah.
it's changing every month,
Yeah.
something different, something new. So if you're open to learn, if you have somebody that's willing to pour into you, and you're like you said, you're willing to be a sponge,
Hmm.
just learn from that individual and grow.
So what's just give like maybe some quick tips for business uh preparing for a brand photo shoot. Like what, because I told you,
Hmm.
like I was like, oh my gosh. So I called Brittany, like, and now mind you, I was in LA, my brand shoot was in Atlanta. So it's like, what do I
Yeah.
need to pack? Like, and I'm like, and she's like, okay, you need to get this from your product, and this is why. And I'm like, okay, what should I bring this item? And she's like, no, bring this, and this is why. Not thinking in my mind, I'm thinking like, oh, just throw a few products in the suitcase, and of course, all of my outfits, for the brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, so what share like just some quick tips for, like I said, the person who hasn't done this yet and maybe thinking about doing it.
Yes. So think about doing a brand shoot and say your brand is, I don't know, gym apparel.
Mm-hmm.
If you have leggings, tops, bring their leggings. So bring several colors, bring several tops. Also, too, make sure your makeup and hair is done.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll be like, I have had people sometimes like, you can fix this in post. No, no, you're supposed to
Uh-uh.
come. You're supposed to come, hair done,
No.
and makeup. And I hold up, I asked you, did you need somebody for me to get you, to come here to the studio
Yeah.
and everything? So I tell them hair, makeup, if you can, depending on if it's in state, local, bring everything with you because
Mm.
we can do different ideas, we can bounce everything. If it's a travel, pick out your 3 to 4 most popular items and bring them. And usually with these type of brands, I have a creative director, so they're going to tell you what outfits to wear and everything.
Yep.
Because as a photographer, video, we can't do it all.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
cannot do it all. And
Yeah.
if I can hire, look, I'll fit in the budget. Okay, this is going to cost this because you need a creative director. We need this on set, and we need this to, get your brand to, where it needs to be or what it needs to do. So
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. Like,
Yeah.
don't burn yourself out. Hire certain people to get your, to make your brand pop, to really hone in on it and to, help you get this brand out there.
Yeah.
Say having like Brittany is sharp.
Yep.
Brittany is sharp. So she'll look at an outfit like, no, and take
Mm-hmm.
this and put this. Like
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, she's an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
She had a pink full jumpsuit on heels, and she said, put those gloves on. So when she went like this, it was so powerful but elegant
Oh,
at the same
that photo
time.
popped when I tell you that. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so you have to have, because like you said, you can't do everything by yourself, but you have to have a talented people on your side to work with so we can bring this brand to life.
Yeah.
So be truthful with you, I would say creative director,
Yep.
hair and makeup,
Mm-hmm.
the items that you have, and really talk with the creative director of what outfits to bring and what
Yeah.
shoes to bring and what looks are they, they you want to do for your brand shoot, or possibly if this is going on like a cover of a magazine or anything like that. So a solid team, and I had to learn this myself, a solid team will get you a long way.
A long way.
A long way. Like a solid team. Like you'll burn yourself out. And I have did
Yeah.
that. I have did that. So
Yeah.
quick tips, hair, makeup, your key outfits, like if starting out a nice business suit, then we could do something casual, a nice white
Yep.
top, some nice jeans, and get something creative, like get a leather jacket to throw over the white top because we can just do from the waist up with
Yeah.
that outfit and everything. So it's different ways to do it. I mean, from your not say your small, but like from the a smaller budget to a higher budget. Either way, it can be accomplished.
Yeah. And again, it
Mhm.
goes back to what you said about investing in yourself.
Yes.
And for me, that's how I saw it. Like like I said, I had the option to do it out here or out there, and I'm like, no, let me go somewhere different. Let me go out there,
Hmm.
to where, because she already had the team, she had the makeup artist. Of course, my hair was already, I had this, so I was
Yes.
fine. But she already had her team of people that she works with. She had the makeup artist. She even had the models. Because I used it was
Amazing.
some shots where there were three other young ladies, so they were the models. She had, and she set everything up. And again, I was excited because it was an investment in my brand. And once I saw the photos, I'm like, oh my gosh! And I've been taking these photos with my iPhone all this time. Who knew the difference?
And see, and some people, you know what, to a naked eye, some people don't know the difference until
Yeah,
they, and then, but once they see a high resolution photo or you
yeah,
show them the camera, like you turn around and show the camera and be like, look at this, and they be like, wow, oh my
yeah,
God,
yeah,
and that's not even edited yet. So wait till it gets, polished up and everything.
yeah, yeah. And I was going to ask you, like, what is your dream project? But I think you already said it. The working with Tyler Perry, is that your like dream project?
Yeah, like a dream project, definitely working on a Tyler Perry set, even
Hmm.
being, and this is the thing, like being behind one of the cameras, like I said, I'm techie. I already know some of these cameras because one of them is like a $80,000 camera, and
Yeah.
it's just like I just I know it. Like I would love to be. I'm not so much in front of the camera. I love to be behind the
Right.
camera, and maybe
Yeah.
you know direct or produce. So
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
one of my ideal projects to do, and hopefully maybe get into, like I said, documentaries and
Yeah.
working with somebody. But I want to find like something that's deep and powerful. So I'm working
Hmm.
towards that as of
Yeah.
right now. So, you know, I've been doing actually this month it'll be 6 years, and
Wow.
I'm still learning and growing. And
Yeah.
maybe one day, still young, I'll get from behind the camera and be more so in front of the camera, directing and producing. But of
Yeah.
course, I'm gonna learn everything I can learn before going into something.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And like again, because I've seen your work, so I can speak to what you are talking about. I can tell I mean those the and the work that I'm speaking of to the audience, she did a shoot for a magazine cover for Jamie, who's an MMA fighter, and who was the other young lady?
Lee Mason, she's a Philly
Yeah,
rapper.
she's a Philly rapper. And when I tell you, so we attended the Flower Awards and that was put on by Brittany Nicole. So the when they revealed those magazine covers, I was like, "Oh my gosh, who did this?" So again, I can attest to her work. It popped. So, do you have anything new coming up that you'd like to share?
Anything new? Well, I just found out I was nominated for Outstanding Photographer Award. This is my second year. I won last year,
Well
and this is
deserved.
I'm nominated again this year. So that's in
Yeah.
November in New York.
Oh
Um,
wow.
Going, traveling out of the state to go do a couple of photo shoots with models and everything. And
Yeah.
I always keep saying the best is yet to come. I'm always just, you know, for it, like granted, like opportunities to work with
Hmm.
certain individuals and
Yeah.
everything. And I'm just grateful because, those opportunities are laying you in some spaces that you never even know that not say
So
asking
true.
for, but I mean, of course, you pray for certain things, and then
Yeah.
you know things that just happen, and I'm just grateful for every opportunity.
Yeah.
And even the ones that come out to say be sketchy, it's a learning. It's
Yeah.
a learning. You learn from that. You be like, okay,
That's right.
I know that
That's
red
right.
flag, so I'm not doing going down that road again. So,
Mhm.
so this year started off with some amazing opportunities. Working with Brittany and everything, and
Yeah.
you know, hopefully to continue definitely to work with her and any other PR people that want me to work with them and shoot any type of brand or corporate headshots or anything that they need. I'm willing to work with anybody.
So can you share your Instagram for those who want to reach out to you?
So yes, my Instagram is Tate Digital Media. My Facebook is the same, Tate Digital Media, and My website is www.tatedigitalmedia.com.
Well, thank you so much for coming on to the show. It was a pleasure. And I love the topic because, like I said, a lot of brand owners and business owners that are just starting out, they don't know the importance of some of these things. A lot of times we don't think of those. We
Mhm.
think of those as small things, but they are very
Yeah.
impactful. So this was a much needed conversation. I thank you for coming on to the Women Can Do show.
Thank you for
And I want to
having me.
thank all of our viewers for tuning in. My hope always, of course, is that you were informed, transformed, and empowered. And so I know she shared so many good nuggets today on this show. I hope that you will take them into account, especially business owners or brand owners, people who are just starting out. Make sure you get those headshots done, those photo shoots. She shared a lot of information. So if you tuned in late, this will be saved on our YouTube channel for you to go back and view from beginning to end. Trust me, you will definitely be informed. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That button is right there. Just click it, subscribe, and to be ready to tune in to another episode next Wednesday at the same time. I wish you all an amazing rest of your week, and as always, be sure to finish strong this Friday. All right, bye.